Hey there, my name is Hubum. I'm a Diablo 3 player and sometimes I do a stream over on twitch.tv. Today I'm going to be doing my best to contribute to the general consensus that Inferno Ghom is very hard, but I'd also like to help out and show some of the strategies that I've employed to beat Inferno Ghom. So hopefully you'll find this video informative. I'm going to hop over into the game now. Hopefully you'll also be able to hop over into the game, because I've had a lot of trouble with my overlays, as usual. I'm not very tech savvy. So hopefully, me switching over and spamming the overlay button will actually work. Well, here goes nothing. In any case, Ghom is a very difficult fight, so let's get into it. The Breach Keep, kill Ghom, select quest, resume game. Now, let me just take a few moments to sort of discuss some of my strategies for killing Ghom. I decided to give myself a little bit of a handicap because my character is a little bit overgeared for this part of Inferno Act 3, so I've decided to do this fight without my chest armor or my ring. This drops my DPS about 2k, down to 15k, which is, I'd say, pretty low for this encounter, considering Ghom does have an enrage timer and it is hard to maintain phase time on him. My resists are still a little bit high, my armor is still a little bit high, but hopefully this will be closer to the experience that you might have if you're struggling with Ghom. As for the build, I've decided to go with this build. Deadly Reach, Foresight, Fist of Thunder, Thunderclap, Blinding Flash, Faith in the Light, Breath of Heaven with Blazing Wrath, Serenity with Ascension Rune, Mantra of Conviction over Awe, and the passives, standard, one with everything, seize the initiative, and I've decided to go with Transcendence over Resolve, because Resolve doesn't really help you against Ghom's farts. Now, if you're having trouble surviving against the fight, but you're not having problems DPSing, you might want to opt to use Mantra of Healing instead, either with Sustenance, which gives you extra regeneration, or Time of Need for the more resist so you take less damage. I don't recommend Mantra of Evasion for this fight, simply because you cannot dodge the farts, and that's the primary problem of this fight. I decided to take Irena with me because there really is no way to keep your follower alive in this fight, but Irena at least provides the armor bonus when she's dead. Let's hop in. Now, I'm pretty hit or miss on this fight, to be honest. When I'm doing this strategy, especially when I'm sort of without my chest or armor or ring, I die a lot. As you can see up here, I had a couple mishaps. That said, this fight is still very difficult regardless. Ghom is troublesome. He spawns 2 gas clouds every, I'd say, 7 to 10 seconds, one on himself and one on you in your position. If you're not in melee range with him, he'll also spawn his little bubbles, which are his little slime cloud minion thingies, which aren't really troublesome, but they can add up after a while. Mostly, though, I use them to regain some of my spirit that I've lost. Also, he does have an enrage timer, so if you don't kill him fast enough, he'll actually fill up the whole room with gas. So you need to kill him before the enrage timer, or at the very beginning of the enrage timer, at worst. The gas clouds do not too much initial damage, but they ramp up very quickly and do a lot of damage once they're at full damage potential. So my strategy for this is to A, do as much damage to him when he's out of the gas clouds, and B, kite him in as wide a circle as possible, as slow as possible, so that by the time I get back to the first part of the room, after I've come full circle, hopefully the first gas clouds will have dissipated, because I do persist for a while. So I'll be doing my best to survive this fight and give commentary while I'm doing it, but it is pretty tough. Let's do this. So I want to drag him out into the edge first, if I can. He'll spawn gas clouds between me and him. He's not in the gas clouds right now, though, so I'll do DPS to him as much as I can. Once he spawns a gas cloud on me and him, I'm still going to keep doing DPS. Once the damage becomes unsustainable, I'm going to pop Serenity, do as much damage as I can, and get out. Now, I got a little bit lucky here. He spawned his gas cloud just as I was running out, so I have a lot of extra space out here. But because I don't have Serenity now, I have to stay out of the gas clouds. Keep in mind that the gas cloud ranges are quite big. You might think you're out of the gas cloud, but really you're on the edge. They're a little bit deceptive with their range, so be careful. There we go. Back in. I got blocked in by a little bit by his bubbles. That's okay. Damage to him until it becomes unsustainable. Serenity it up. Do a little bit of extra damage. Run out while you still have time. Then you want to keep kiting him in this very wide circle. I'm doing it clockwise. You can do it clockwise or counterclockwise. Either is okay. Now he does seem to do this weird derping thing where he sort of runs around the pillars in a very strange fashion. This sometimes does happen just because of Ghom's bad pathing. It's a little bit regrettable, but it's still doable. So let's pop back in, do as much damage as I can to him. Again, when the damage becomes too much, pop Serenity, do as much damage as you can, get out. Repeat. I want to make sure I keep my Foresight buff and my Blazing Wrath buff up as often as I possibly can. Now keep in mind that Ghom is a pretty big fella. As you can see there, he kind of body blocked me pretty badly there. So he can body block you in those situations, just keep that in mind. Looks like I'm between clouds, and I am. Blind, pop in. I do have Serenity up, so I'll use that as soon as I can. Get a few extra seconds of DPS in, run out while it still can. While it's still safe. Again, as you can see, I've done as big of a circle as I possibly can, but it's still pretty close on the timing for the gas clouds. The ones behind me are just about to disappear, but I still haven't finished up with the ones here. So it's very, very sticky on the timing. You have to be very careful. I'm pretty low on spirit, but luckily these bubbles are here to help me regenerate some of it. Go in, blind, do the DPS as much as you can. Keep fighting. When it becomes unsustainable, use Serenity. Then pop out while you still can. Transcendence really helps out for your overall sustain here. He's out of the cloud now, let's go in. As you can see, I'm doing pretty well so far. Out of the cloud, go back in with my melee skill. Blind as I need to. Doing as much damage as I possibly can. When it becomes unsustainable, I'll use Serenity. Do as much damage as I can for a couple extra seconds, then pop out while I still have Serenity active. Getting him pretty low now, but it's still not a safe fight, by any means, and I don't want to take him lightly at all. He's out of the cloud now, let's go in. Spawning again, I don't have Serenity, so I need to get out quickly. This is all sort of a fight about managing your cooldowns, managing your positioning, and being very safe. He's out. Let's go back in. Should be able to get him down pretty soon. I've got my Serenity up, so I can do this. Don't want to take any risks. I know he's almost dead, but I didn't want to chance it. So let's keep kiting. Should be able to get him on the next pass. There he goes. So that was pretty clean. Of course, that did take me a couple tries to film, so it's not 100% for me either in this strategy. But hopefully that'll help you out. Just to sort of give you another possibility of strategy, let's go fight him again, but let's do it tank style. Oops, that is not very quickly. I could do it quicker just by porting to town and getting out of the game. Asmodan's going to taunt me, but that's okay. He wants me to make him a hand sandwich, Nephilim. So let's go back and do Ghom, but this time let's do it with a twist. Let's do it with my regular gear, and let's do it with a little bit of a different build, just to show you that while Ghom is extremely difficult, he's by no means impossible, especially if you overgear the encounter. Let's throw on my old gear. Let's change my build up a little. Let's put Fist of Thunder back on my left click for a little bit. And instead of my another skill here, let's put Sweeping Wind with Inner Storm Rune. And let's change Mantra of Conviction to Mantra of Healing with Time of Need. Now, this is going to seem a little weird, but I'm basically going to tank Ghom right in his gas. If you have enough mitigation and enough sustain, you can actually do this.
Demon, he's here.
So, at this time, I'll show you the difference between kiting builds and tank builds, but keep in mind that this type of strategy is extremely gear dependent. Alright, so we've got it good now. Basically the trick to this is to use Sweeping Wind with the Inner Storm Rune. Once you've built up 3 stacks of your Sweeping Wind, you actually gain 3 extra spirit per second. This actually allows you, if you have enough sustain through life on hit and attack speed, to actually stay in his cloud the entire time and face tank him even during the gas cloud. Now, this is overgearing his encounter, and I am a very, very defensive oriented monk, so this isn't going to work for everybody, and certainly shouldn't be tried unless you have a very high level of gear. But I just wanted to show you this, just to show you that while this is an extremely difficult encounter, it's absolutely doable, and at some points of gear, it actually becomes a trivial fight. As you can see, I have Serenity and my potion as backup, but I haven't really had to use them yet this entire fight. Also, keep in mind that this strategy won't work for all builds. It will work for the defensive-oriented monk who stacks a lot of life on hit, but if you're a crit monk, you may want to stick to the kiting build simply because that strategy is more viable. Your burst DPS in a crit build is much more viable, so you actually might even be able to kill faster than what I'm doing now, just by using the kiting strategy. Also, this is probably the only time where you can actually keep a follower alive. Somehow Irene is still alive. Lyndon could probably stay alive as well, although our poor friend Cormac, who likes to go in and mix it up in melee, would probably die a horrible, horrible death to the very nasty smelling Ghom. He looks a little bit like Jabba the Hutt, to be honest. But then again, a lot of the Act 3 bosses look like Jabba the Hutt. In fact, there seems to be a sort of Hutt theme going on in all of Act 3. Even Sadea looks a little bit like Jabba the Hutt. Anyways, that's Ghom, pretty easily killed with the tank strategy. Just keep in mind that you would need to have a high level of mitigation for that to work. I highly advise you try the kiting strategy first, and if you're not successful with that, maybe you have enough mitigation to try the tank strategy. But those are both two viable options of being able to kill Ghom as a monk. Anyways, I hope you found this stuff informative, and hopefully you'll succeed at Ghom at your next attempt, or dozen attempts. It took me about 6 tries to do this video, so hopefully it'll take you less attempts to kill Ghom now that you have a good strategy in mind. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, feel free to check me out on twitch.tv. I usually stream Monday to Fridays from about 8:30 in the morning Pacific to about 3 p.m. At least for now. But anyways, cheers for watching, good luck in Diablo 3, and thanks!